Because Joe Biden has no integrity to protect, he has a lot of latitude for what he can do. It doesn't matter. What does he believe? What should he believe? That's always the Biden response. Who is Joe Biden? Who do you need him to be? That's how Joe Biden approaches everything in politics, in life, stretching back for as long as he's been a public figure, which is longer than I've been alive. So he's the right guy for this job, but it's a difficult job. Pretending to be something when it counts with the voters, while he is something entirely else when it comes to the governance that he presides over as the head of the Democrat Party. Whether he's a puppet or not doesn't matter. He's still the figurehead, right? So this brings me to this interview he did on The Daily Show. And here Joe Biden is asked about there are a number of states that are banning transgender surgery for children. How many of you listening to this right now had never even heard of transgender surgery, including doctors, by the way, transgender surgery for children until the last 5 years, maybe the last 2 or 3 years? I think the answer is a lot, almost everybody. This is new. There are no long-term studies. There is no real sense as to how this could be medicine because this is not studied in any meaningful way. They won't talk about it. They just want to be able to do it. They want to be able to do gender mutilation of children and call it medicine. And they are, you see how they have turned on the issue of abortion, for example. The left, the Democrat Party, used to say, oh, it's just, safe, legal, and rare, or, oh, we want it to be something that women can choose for themselves as a freedom, but, we're not going to celebrate it. Oh, no, and then eventually they were celebrating it. Take my word for it. You'll see women at these pro-abortion marches. Shout Your Abortion was a whole campaign for Shout Your Abortion, a whole campaign for a while. Celebrities talking about how abortion was such a great decision for them. Usually women who were actresses who, were on Marriage Number 5 and, have made a mess of their lives. But anyway, they'll say, oh, abortion was such a great thing for my career. That's usually what they say. So they do end up celebrating it. And they're willing to completely forget about the morality that is involved and the loss of a life. So given their position on abortion, you have to understand, if left unchecked, the psychological contagion of gender ideology for kids, for adolescents, for prepubescent children, that gender contagion ideology is something that they will go from saying, it is rare, why do you focus on it? It is rare, why are you making such a big deal of it, to it is mandatory and you better celebrate it or else. This is coming. The slippery slope, as everyone says on Twitter these days, is the undefeated champion. You know what they're going to do. So we stand and fight, or we know where they're going to take this. Politically stand and fight. We stand up and say enough is enough, or the pathway is clear. I bring you Joe Biden. Good old-fashioned Joe. Guy was alive when the Second World War was ending, right? Joe Biden's been around forever. He's such a traditional Democrat, a union, lunch pail carrying, pro-labor Democrat, all this sort of stuff. That doesn't even exist anymore, by the way, but that's what they'll say. That guy, Grandpa Joe, you can count on him. Here he is when speaking about gender mutilation of children, teenagers, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, have their genitalia removed. And they say transition. There is no transition. Jordan Peterson, bless him, he takes important shots on important issues. You may have seen recently, and he got a little profane. He got a little fiery on Twitter. He pointed out there is no transitioning of a penis to a vagina that is not possible for humanity, for a human being. It cannot be done. It is not a thing that is medically possible. So then why do they say we're going to create? No, they don't. And that's for adults. They want to try similar procedures involving children. This is madness. This is monstrous. And yet Joe Biden, good old-fashioned, middle-of-the-road Joe, here he is when he's asked about transgender kids. Play 15.
What's going on in Florida is, as my mother would say, close to sinful. I mean, it's just terrible what they're doing. It's not like, a kid wakes up one morning and says, I decided I want to become a man, or I want to become a woman, or I want to change. I mean, what are they thinking about here? They're human beings. They love, they have feelings, they have inclinations that are, I mean, it just to me is, I don't know, it's cruel.
First of all, notice the Biden go-to. He can't really discuss what it is that his side wants. So he does this, man, we're talking about human beings, people who love and feel. And yeah, we all know that, buddy. We're talking about not gender mutilating children, which will ruin their lives. It will ruin their lives. Okay, start with that. He acts like that's the position of kindness. Oh, a 14-year-old girl wants to be a 14-year-old boy because some activist therapist had 3 sessions with her? Let's do it. Let's go. Take him to the doctor. Oh, the parents. Let me ask you this. Do you think Joe Biden would sign a law that would prohibit parents stopping gender transition surgery for their kids if a medical professional / activist decided that it was appropriate? I think he would. I think he would in a heartbeat. I think that Joe Biden has been a lie his entire public life. All it is lies with this guy. He stands for nothing. He is a figment of the imagination of the voters who have been tricked into voting for him, who think they're getting something else. The left knows. They think he's great. He's the Trojan horse. He's the vessel. For everybody who's, I'm a moderate and he's going to be normal and everything else. No, he's not. Joe Biden exists to be a facade that the left can rely on to make them seem less insane. Because of his appearance, because of his grin, because he's lunch pail Joe riding the choo-choo into D.C. every day. Here he is talking about transgender surgery for teenagers, and he does the usual, come on, man, it's people, they got feelings. Yeah, exactly. These are little human beings who should not be subject to the mass psychosis of leftist activists and the obvious social contagion that is transgenderism for kids, which just has exploded in the last few years, up thousands of %. And we're not even saying, look, we're not even talking about adults. Adults want to, they want to have, different surgeries and change their names, do all these things. They're adults. They get to choose all that. We're talking about protections for children. And where does Joe Biden stand on this? He's saying it's not like they wake up one day and decide, I'm just going to. No, that's exactly what they do. Because the society around them, because TikTok, because the Democrat Party, because Hollywood elites, because people they look up to who have neither wisdom nor morality to draw upon, tell them this will make you the center of attention. This will make you live your truth. This will make your life better. They're being lied to. They are being lied to. And Joe Biden is the liar in chief. That's what you see here. So all this stuff about, he's going to return us to normalcy. It's going to be fine. You can trust good old Joe. Grandpa Joe gets asked about gender mutilation of minors. And what does he say? Come on, man, we need to pass a law. And he mentions gay marriage which is for adults. What does that have to do with gender mutilation of minors for transgender purposes? What does he even think he's talking? It doesn't even matter. He's just there to fool enough of the easily fooled so that the great mass of the left can get their way. That's it.